La 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 la. I'm gonna use my 17 Lightstick app so that I can change my carrot bong to a candle mode so it matches Calcifer. How do you find work as a young artist? How do you get the motivation to finish your videos slash animations? Where do your ideas come from? What inspires you? Or what are your biggest inspirations? Is the burnout and pursuing your dream worth it, even though the industry is crashing? Yeah, this is a topic with many, many layers. Where do I begin? It's been so long since we caught up. So, without further ado, let me answer some of you guys' questions. And before anyone's curious, because I literally made a video a few months ago about how I switched back to a flip phone and I have a smartphone on my hand right now. The biggest reason is after I came back to Asia, I realized that living with my flip phone here is basically impossible because every time I go out, it requires QR codes and Apple Wallet stuff and all my memberships. But either way, using a flip phone has really drastically cut down my screen time. And who knows, I might switch back to it again when I go back to the US. Okay, question 1 is, how have you been feeling lately? Any memories or stories to share? I have been doing quite okay. Thank you for asking. I think during my school semester, I was really preoccupied with film and it was basically my entire life. So now that I finished that project and this chapter is over, it's been very refreshing coming back home. I caught up with friends and family and I have time to do other things other than film that I really enjoy, like YouTube. As for any memories or stories I'd like to share, the first thing that came to mind when I read this question is my trip to San Diego. At the end of last year, we went to this place called La Jolla, which is basically like a seaside town, beach vibes. And there was also a lot of sea lions and they're always like like on the beach. Anyways, when we were walking there, we stumbled upon this man who called himself the San Diego Bubble Man, and he was making bubbles with the most crazy contraptions I've ever seen. When I saw this in person, it really brought me back to my senses and I realized that the world really can be so beautiful, which sounds so cheesy, and I think about that really often. Okay, on to the second question. How do you feel that you're in your 4th year of Cal Art soon? How do I feel? I can't believe I'm almost done. It really felt like yesterday when I just gone to Cal Arts. Now it's been like 3+ years. I don't know what I expected, but it sure has been a hella crazy of a journey. The next question is, what is your current hyperfixation? I don't think I'm someone that really has a hyperfixation, at least not anymore, but I guess you could say Chikawa because every time I see Chikawa, I'm like, yay! I love Chikawa. But I also really like the other mascot called Koppen-chan, which also released an anime recently, and Koppen-chan needs more hype, so I am sending you guys number 4. Who's your favorite music artist? I think if I answered this question like during high school, I've definitely were like 17 full stop. But of course that still holds true. They just had their 10th anniversary and I'm very proud of them. But recently I actually have not been listening to that much K-pop. I just don't have time to catch up with what all the idols are doing. So I've been listening to a lot of J-pop and my favorite artist right now is Fujikaze. I love Fujikaze. I watched his concert 2 years ago when he came to Hong Kong and I cried so hard. And other than that, I also like Leve a lot. I drew a lot of fan art which got featured onto Leve Land once, which is crazy. Okay, but yeah, those are my favorite music artists. Question 5. Media you've watched recently. I have been back in my anime phase. I think now, especially summer rolling around, I have time again. I started to watch a lot more anime. I just finished Kotaro Lives Alone. And then right now I'm watching Sakamoto Desu Ka, not Sakamoto Days, Sakamoto Desu Ka, which is about like this this guy who's really OP and it's like the funniest anime I've ever watched. It's like on par with Psyche K. I also forced my friend to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Hunter x Hunter, so I rewatched both of those and damn, rewatching those two shows made me realize, yeah, I get why 13-year-old Veda was so obsessed with Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric and Killua Zoldyck. Okay, before I keep talking about Killua, let's just move on to the next question. Okay, the next question is, do you think you'll make more videos like Saku's art classroom? By the way, A Neighbor Do It is amazing. Thank you so much for the love of my film. As for Saku's art classroom, yes, I am planning to make another season of it. It's just that right now with school, I don't think I can do it yet. So you guys will probably have to wait until I graduate, which is in a year. And I've also been starting to think about what I want to bring to this new season, especially studying at CalArts and what I've learned from there and how I can incorporate it to my content, because I do really believe that art education should be accessible to a wider amount of people. Even if you don't do it as a career, it's really good to have the arts to be with you, to express yourself, and it has a lot of benefits. So yes, it is coming. You just need to wait for a little bit longer. The next question is, I don't have anything to ask, but I just want to say that you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much. I think like reading things like this really makes me realize why I love making content in the first place. Like, no matter what, I always try to keep coming back to YouTube, as you can tell. Yay! Okay, the next question is, do you plan on doing merch for A Neighbor Duet? I actually do have some ideas. It's just that I've been so busy with trying to post weekly, and also I've been working as a freelance illustrator / animator, and that's also been really busy because I do have quite a few projects right now. But if there is a demand, I will make it. Please just let me know in the comments if you would like some, because I do have some ideas up in here. Okay, the next question is, what's something you learned about college this year that you didn't know in your first year? I think there are many things, both things I learned about art and also things I learned about myself. But I think the main thing is, in the past, when my work wasn't as well received as I want them to be, or if I didn't get a certain achievement, or I didn't get selected for a certain film festival, I would always think it's a me problem and that I'm not good enough, my artistic voice is not strong enough, etc., etc. But I realized this year that that's actually not always the case. Of course, every artist has places they can improve in, but art is just very subjective, and one man's trash could be another person's treasure. Because of this, I think you really need to choose who you want to appeal to. You could try to appeal to a wider range of audience, but it would probably mean that less people can relate to it as much, or you make a story that is more personal and appeal to a less of an audience, but the people who really get it relate to the story and resonate it with a lot. So it's really about picking what you want to do as a filmmaker, and those are not things I necessarily knew when I first started. Okay, the next question is, where do your ideas come from? What inspires you? Or what are your biggest inspirations? I think that most of my ideas come from experiences, both through my own lived experiences, but also witnessing other people's experiences. And they don't even have to be a friend, it could just be like a random passerby on the street. One of my favorite things to do actually is to go on walks and just explore places that I don't usually go and observe the everyday life. I think just seeing people going about their day and seeing like buildings that hold so much history to them, it makes me wonder. I feel like just that thought alone, that there are so many stories out here in the world, make me inspired, if that makes sense. But also when I have a lot of subconscious thoughts, especially when I'm about to fall asleep, I feel like that's when most of my ideas come by, and I would usually jot it down in my notebook, or I would really force myself to remember it, and I would use it as an idea when I have the chance to develop it even further. The next question is, how did you discover what you want to do with your art / your artistic identity? I think I've always been someone that's really mission driven, so a lot of my art, I want to be able to inspire people and bring a sense of happiness, especially in an age where, I don't know, everything seems so dull and sad, which is sad, that that's the case. So I think that's really how I developed my artistic voice. Of course, it took a lot of time to get to this point of knowing what I want to do, but I think the main question I asked myself in the beginning is, what do I really like? And what do I want people to feel when they see my artwork? The next question is, I recently just started art school, was wondering, how do you deal with perfectionism? This is also an ongoing case for me as well, but the thing I try to do the most is that I tell myself that I'm in art school to learn. Like, of course, it always seems as though there are other people that are better than you, which I certainly feel going to a school like CalArts. Like, my friends are crazily talented. Think that you're not perfect and that you still have a long way to go is actually what's gonna make you grow a lot further. I also know that a lot of people around you will tell you that you're not good enough. Like, they don't say that to your face, but you can kind of get the vibes, especially when you start to deal with restrictions and all of that. You really think, is it you? But most of the time, please know that sometimes it really isn't you. Like, a lot of these things are actually up to luck, and also the fact that you're trying your best should be good enough, because like, what else can you do? Like, you've already done your best. La 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 la. Next question, do you get free time during CalArts? I would say I don't really get free time. Like, I did not take that many classes last semester, but because I was so focused on film, and if you see my previous videos, well, I spent like almost 400 hours working on film. Like, that's a lot of time each day I have to dedicate to my film, plus all the work I have to do for all the other classes. Yeah, and I think that's not actually the main part where all my time goes to. It's also because I live alone. I have a lot of things to figure out each day. Like, I have to worry about what I need to buy for groceries and what I need to cook for dinner, and I need to wash the dishes. Oh no, I don't have dish soap. I need to go to the supermarket. Like, there's a lot of things that you need to worry about even when you have the time. So I think being in college really forces you to grow up. But yeah, the next question is, how do you get the motivation to finish your videos/animations? I feel like the main motivation for me to finish every single YouTube video is because I know that there are people out there who are genuinely excited for my content. For example, you know who you are. I have this one fan who comments on every single one of my videos, and I always read every single one of their comment, and it makes me really, really happy. So every time when I feel down, I do think about people like that. And also know that possibly my videos could make an impact on someone's life for the better, and that thought alone makes me want to move forward, even if I don't have necessarily the highest view count. And as for projects, I think it's kind of the same thing. I know my family and friends are always looking forward to my animations. The next question is, how do you find work as a young artist? The route I'm going is being a freelance illustrator/animator, which really requires you to build your own brand. And what I mean is have kind of a niche, but a niche big enough that you will get projects. For example, when you think about my artworks, the themes that usually come up are happiness, whimsicalness, childhood, nostalgia, and my home, Hong Kong. And also, my artworks have a very distinct coloring style. So when the client has a project that has similar themes to my branding, I would be a strong candidate in mind, and they would therefore reach out to me to collaborate. And another thing also is knowing the right people. I feel like this is actually quality over quantity. Like, I'm actually not very good at like the LinkedIn connecting recruiter stuff, and I've never been good at it. The thing about that seems a bit surface level to me, and I really respect people that can do that, but it's not my cup of tea. So to any girlies who think they're bad at connecting, it isn't just you. I don't know that many people, but I feel like the connections I made are a lot more genuine. Yeah, I think how I got some of my projects is kind of through that. The next question is, what is your dream project? Side note, I'm so happy your dreams are reality. Keep going. Oh my god, thank you. Okay, My dream project, I think I really like seeing my art around my home city, so I would just want more of that and one day get like a really big scale project so that many people can just see my art on the street. I think that would be really cool. I want people to come to Hong Kong and think of me and my art. I guess that is like the main goal. And another thing is, but this is more like a passion project more than anything, is I would like to make my own songs one day and then make an animated music video for that song, like the Vocaloid YOSLV type of stuff. I think those things are really cool. So I would want to do that one day in the next 5 to 6 years. Fingers crossed. I'm saying this now to keep myself accountable that I actually do it. Okay, the next question is, will you continue to make short films after college? I can't say too much about the freelance projects that I'm currently working on, but I am directing a few animated short films, which is really exciting, and getting paid for it. Of course, those works are for clients. It's not like my own story I want to tell, even though I'm also really passionate about those projects. But in the future, I will keep making short films. I want to apply to film funds. Like in CalArts, you only get 4 chances to tell 4 CalArts films, but that's not enough. I want to tell a lot more stories than just 4. Okay, the next question, which is kind of related, is do you already have an idea for your thesis film? And the answer is yes. I want to go out with a bang. Like bang as in like I don't want to make the most mind-blowing crazy film that you've ever seen, because I feel like that's impossible, especially if you only have like 1 or 2 people working on it. But I just want to have so much fun working on this film, like make a film that is so truly Veda that I can go out in a bang that way. So yeah, stay tuned next year. The next question is, are you scared to graduate? The answer is no. I feel like I'm more excited than anything. I know, especially when you get to this stage in life, like your future looks really uncertain, but I also feel kind of trapped in school in a way, not as in like they're holding me hostage or anything, but I feel as though I've learned probably 90% of what I can in school already, and from here to really further develop my artistic voice is to go off on my own. And also talking to a lot of alumni, like CalArts isn't your entire life. Like, you're gonna have so much more lived experience. Currently at school, I've been doing the same thing every single day, which is making a short film. So I would like to have more lived experiences. The next question is the burnout and pursuing your dream worth it, even though the industry is crashing? Yeah, there's a reason why I didn't talk about that in the previous question, because I want to save it for this question. Yeah, this is a topic with many layers. Where do I begin? When I was in high school, I only really thought about getting into CalArts. I never really thought past that. So then fast forward, I was like, oh, now that I've actually accomplished my goal, what now? This took a long time to figure out what I really wanted to do. The standard pipeline for CalArts students is that they would typically end up working somewhere in the animation industry, and they would work their way up from there, and that's where all the big names spawned. So I feel like, especially in my first 2 years, I was kind of following this pipeline as well. I was blindly following what the usual CalArts student does without actually listening to what I wanted to do in my heart. Especially at the state of the industry right now, as sad it is to say, I really don't think it is possible for me to stay in the animation industry and make my way up like a typical CalArts student, especially for international students, right? So I wouldn't say that my dreams got shattered. I just felt like I was blindly chasing this dream I didn't even know was mine, and now I truly grasped onto my dream and realized I can pivot into something else, and that's what I've been doing mostly now. I've been really building my brand as an illustrator, and starting from second year, I started to get my first few ever projects and deals, which is so cool. And I'm slowly working my way up from there, and Yes, that means I have to sacrifice my dream of being in the US animation industry, but maybe in the future, even if I don't live in the US, maybe when things get better, I can get a remote job or a freelance gig for the animation industry. I know this is a very personal decision and a personal story, and it might be different for other people, but it's not the end yet. Indie animation is still thriving, and other platforms you can still build your work, even if it means you have to get another job for now. As for the burnout, when I said in my earlier videos, I feel like I always think it's worth it if I know that it can impact other people. I don't know. This is a really hard topic because it's really sad. I think especially for my friends who genuinely want to go into the industry and they work so hard and they're all so talented, but we were just unlucky. We were here at the wrong time, and there are a lot of things that are just outside of your control. But hopefully one day things will get better, especially to my animator friends. I really am rooting on for them. I think they can achieve great things. That was a really heavy question, but I hope I gave you a good enough answer. The last question is, do you still find animation being your passion? I think you guys can tell. I still really love animation as much as I don't want to think about animation sometimes, and as much as I hate when my friends start talking about like the animation industry when we're eating in the middle of lunch on a random Tuesday. I still very much love animation. I feel like animation really made me, like without watching my favorite shows like Avatar The Last Airbender or My Little Pony or Steven Universe or Hunter x Hunter. I really feel like I might not have even had the confidence and the same outlook of life. Like there are still a lot of nights where I'm crying, where I'm like, no, I'm doing something wrong, and then I'm not, and then I lose all my self-confidence. But despite of all of those sporadic emotions, I am genuinely really happy on where I am right now, and I'm really happy to have an audience to watch my videos and to see my artwork. I finished my tea, and that also means that I have answered all the questions for this video. Okay, that was a really weird transition, but yes, thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. I thought to switch up my setup for this video specifically because it's more like a catch-up video, so I wanted to do more cozy vibes compared to the usual Saku video setup. And yeah, I hope you guys are also liking all the Saku deep dive content so far. It's really my first attempt making video essays, but I'm having so much fun. Like now I have so many fun statistics in my head that I can randomly bring up to my friends during conversation. If you haven't already, please check out my college film this year, A Neighbor Duet, which is up here on YouTube. And yeah, comment down below what kind of content you want to see from me in the future, especially this summer. I really want to grind YouTube. So yeah, okay, that's it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.